2018.
And as KETV Investigates learned, families are waiting longer just to get those evaluations. Maddie Augustine spoke with a family who's been on a wait list for nearly a year. Maddie.
Families are frustrated, working to make sure their children have the right services available, but unable to do so without an official autism diagnosis. I spoke with one family who says they began the process in December 2022, and it was until last week they received an appointment date.
He's been on the wait list since April for just the main assessment. Prior to that, the wait list for the telehealth is about 5 to 6 months, just waiting on that.
Amy Messina's 7-year-old son, Aiden, has been waiting for an autism evaluation for over a year, and the Messinas aren't alone.
We absolutely are seeing a significant demand for these comprehensive evaluations.
Director of Monroe Meyer Institute's Integrated Center for Autism Spectrum Disorders, Dr. Alice Schillensberg, says they evaluate around 25 children each month for autism. And Dr. Katie Menesek at Boys Town says she's seen between 40 and 50 children per month for a comprehensive evaluation. According to the CDC, nationally, 1 in 36 children will be diagnosed with autism.
Currently, they're getting put on a wait list, so we're not calling them until about 6 weeks before the appointment's available.
Those wait lists, anywhere from 6 months to a year, a wait Messina knows all too well.
Sometimes it's just a struggle to wait to see like what's going to happen and am I missing something? Could I be getting a resource that could be really beneficial for his future?
Messina says they first noticed Aiden displaying signs of autism when he was 3.
We noticed a lot of like hand clapping when he was excited. He never really wanted to play with toys like the typical way you would play with a toy.
So they started asking questions.
It's a very confusing process, and you kind of are a little bit in the dark for a while until you do a little bit of your own research.
Eventually, Messina was able to get her son on the waiting list at Monroe Meyer, but was told his appointment could take months to a year to happen. Dr. Menesek says she believes the pandemic.
Pre-pandemic, it went from 3 to 6 months, and now it's more averaging 6 to 9 months to a year.
And the impact of social media.
I think Facebook and TikTok have really opened the doors for people to understand the subtle early signs of autism.
Have led to more demand for evaluations and longer wait lists. Dr. Schillensberg says the time-extensive evaluations also play a factor.
There is no medical test for autism, and because of that, that does mean that the evaluation can be time-intensive.
Depending on the age of the child being evaluated, an appointment can last anywhere from 2 hours to 5 hours. But these appointments, necessary to receive the needed therapy.
One of the most evidence-based intervention procedures that are available for individuals with autism, particularly early in childhood, is called applied behavior analysis, or ABA. And typically accessing ABA services does require a diagnosis of autism.
And without an official autism diagnosis, insurance can limit the amount of therapy a child can receive.
Sometimes some insurance covers 12 speech therapy sessions a year, but if you get that diagnosis of autism, it moves to 48.
Leaving families limited options other than to wait.
If he's not getting some of the resources, we're not getting some of the education to help with these things, they could be harder to deal with in the future. That's my main concern about that.
Those doctors say there is support while families wait for evaluations. The Early Development Network in Nebraska can help with services like speech therapy for their children. But again, it takes an official diagnosis to begin applied behavior analysis. Neither doctor could say if these wait lists are expected to shrink anytime soon. We'll keep following it. For KETV Investigates, I'm Maddie Augustine.